Hi Marvels, I'm here with a preview of geometric sequences which we are about to begin. And if you wanted to get out a note card and put these three formulas down, that'd be super helpful for you, but you don't have to. These are different from the arithmetic sequences that we worked with before the break. So the ones here in blue are arithmetic, the new ones in red are geometric, and that's what we're going to start on Monday. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and do a practice problem. Before I do, a lot of these things mean the same thing. So a sub n is just any numbered term of the sequence. A sub 1 is the first sequence. N is the number of the term that you want. S sub n is the sum of the however many number. And then this r here, which is the only new term, stands for ratio. So in the arithmetic sequences, we had d for the common difference. Now we have r for the ratio, because a geometric sequence doesn't have a common difference. Instead, it has a common ratio. So let's look at this first problem. It wants me to find the eighth term between 5, 20, 80, and so on. And when I think about what's going on here, if I wanted to find the common difference here before I knew what type of sequence it would be, the difference here is 15, but the difference here is 60. And obviously 15 and 60 are not the same. So I know it can't be arithmetic, so that tells me it has to be geometric. So since I want to know the geometric sequence, I have to know the common ratio. So the common ratio is whatever is being multiplied or divided to get to the next term. And in this case, I can tell that to get from 5 to 20, I am multiplying times 4. To get from 20 to 80, multiply times 4. The question is to find the eighth term, and you could go on and continue multiplying times 4, multiply times 4 until you get to the eighth term. But of course, there's also a formula we can use, and that formula is right there. So I know the common ratio is 4, and now I'm just going to use my formula. So I want to know a sub 8, which means I take a sub 1. In this case, the first term was 5. And I'm going to multiply times the common ratio, which is 4, to the power of, this is an exponent, 8 minus 1. Well, now when I want to solve that, it's going to be 5 times 4 to the 7th power. That is not something that I would expect you to know or calculate on your own, so you can use your calculator. And when I do 4 to the 7th power times 5, I get 81,920. So the eighth term here is going to be 81,920. And if you get your calculator out and just start multiplying times 4, you're also going to get that same answer. Okay, second problem. So the second problem here is a little bit different, and it says the third term is 63 over 4. The sixth term is 1,701 over 32. What is the fifth term of the sequence? This is a little bit more challenging. Again, I'm going to be using this formula, but in this case, let's write down some things I know. Suppose I focus in on the 63 over 4. I know that 63 over 4 is the third term, so I can call 63 over 4 the third term. That would be equal to a sub 1, which I don't know yet, times some value r, which I don't know yet, to the power of 3 minus 1. I also know here that the sixth term is 1701 over 32. Again, I don't know the first term. I don't know the r term, but I know that's going to be 6 minus 1 as an exponent. How can I figure out this r term? Well, there are a couple of different ways you could do this, and I have 2 equations and 2 unknowns, so you could probably set up a system of equations, but I do think there's a little bit easier way. If I find the ratio between these 2 terms by dividing the sixth term over the third term, then I can move on from there with some other mathematics skills and figure out what my ratio is. So I'm going to do that. And in my calculator, I'm going to do 1701 over 32 divided by 63 divided by 4, or 63 over 4. And when I do that, I get, I don't know if you can see at home, but I get 27 over 8. So the ratio between the sixth and the third term is 27 over 8. Now that doesn't give me any answers immediately, but what I do know is that there are 3 jumps in between the third and the sixth term. There's the fourth, fifth, and then sixth. So that means each time that we're doing that, we're multiplying this by some ratio, by some exponent. So since there's 3 jumps in between the third and the sixth, and this is the ratio between the two, if I take the cube root, now I'm taking the cube root because again there are 3 jumps between the third and the sixth term, I'm going to get what my common ratio is. And when you take the third root of 27 over 8, you're going to get 3 over 2. So this little mathematical pattern tells me that the common ratio is 3 halves, or 3 over 2. And now I know that back in this first equation, what the R term is. I now know that the R term is 3 over 2. And I can use math, I can just simplify this to figure out what the A1 term is using this first equation. So I'm going to do 3 over 2, which is 1.5, to the second power, just following this formula, 3 minus 1 is 2, and I get 2.25. Now I'm going to do 63 over 4 divided by 2.25, and that gives me 7, which tells me that this first term was 7. So I did algebra here to isolate a sub 1. Based on this, I get a sub 1 equals 7. I know that a sub 1 is 7, r is 3 over 2, so if I'm trying to find the fifth term, that's going to be a sub 5 equals the first term here, which is 7, times my r to the power of 5 minus 1. Right now I'm doing 5 minus 1 because this is the fifth, and according to this formula up here, I need to do a sub 5 equals a sub 1 times r, which is 3 over 2, to the power of 5 minus 1, which is going to be 4. So a sub 5 is equal to 7 times 3 halves to the 4th power. And now I use my calculator to do that calculation. And I get a decimal, so this is approximately 35.438, but as a decimal, but I can also figure out what this would be as an actual answer. So 3 to the 4th power times 7. If you actually do this, the fraction is going to be 567 over 16. And you could have gotten that kind of a number of ways, but for today that's what we're going to do. So if you have any questions, please bring them to class. Thank you for watching.